Right in my previous video, I mentioned that if you are questioning the meaning of your life, it means something very interesting about you. So what does it actually mean? And what's the actual answer to this question about the meaning of life? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Mike, and you're on my personal self-improvement YouTube channel. First of all, let's talk about where this question even comes from. Because it's actually not something as ancient as you might think, it's a pretty new question. And even if you ask a modern tribal person about what's the meaning of life, they will not even understand it. They will not understand what you mean. So the question is very modern, just like nihilism itself. But modern in this case doesn't really mean good. You see, most of us in the West live in the post-Christian society. It means that for a long time we had a dominant religion and philosophical system, Christianity. And it created a certain set of questions and beliefs in people's minds. One of those questions is the question about the meaning of life. The problem started to arise when people stopped following Christianity while staying in this same philosophical framework, because for a very long time Christianity gave an answer to the question about the meaning of life, the question that Christianity itself basically created. So when Christianity left people's minds, it left this void. The question became unanswered. And people started looking for an answer, they started developing new ideas, and some became nihilists. Nihilist simply means that you don't believe that life has any meaning, and that's the problem we are trying to solve today. Now, you might have an objection right now, you might say that even Greek philosophers thought about the meaning of life, but that's not really true, because they didn't think about the meaning of life, they thought about how to live the life correctly, which is kinda close, but it's not the same thing. Also, yeah, this question technically comes from Judaism, but Judaism and Christianity were essentially the same thing before Jesus. So for the purpose of our discussion, I count it as the same thing. It would be more correct to say that the question about the meaning of life comes from the Middle Eastern religions. But for the simplicity of it, because many of my viewers are already familiar with it, I will say Christianity. So anyway, when you are starting to ask yourself this incorrect question, you start falling into a trap. You start thinking that life has no meaning, that nothing has any meaning. And that can start demotivating you, or worse, make you to prioritize instant gratification over delayed gratification, which is the thing you need to do to improve your life, you know? So in a way, nihilism can directly mess with your life. That's why it's not only incorrect, but it's also dangerous for you. But why do I say that this question is incorrect? Let's look at this question together. Here it is on your screen. What do you think the answer is? And the answer is this. Yes. The question itself is unanswerable. And it is not unanswerable because we don't know the answer or we can't know the answer. It is unanswerable because the question itself is incorrect. If you think about it, it can only be correct if there is something outside of life. If life isn't the only thing that we have. But all the evidence points that this is the truth, that this life is the only thing we have, which you might believe or might not believe. But if you don't believe that this life is the only thing that we have, then your philosophical framework already answered this question, so there is no reason for you to ask it. And if you're a complete atheist and materialist, then you believe that there is nothing outside of this life, and that means that the question about the meaning of it becomes completely meaningless. Now, does that mean that everything inside of life is meaningless? No, of course it doesn't mean that. Things inside of life can either have meaning or don't have meaning. And whether they do or do not have meaning for you specifically is only up to you to decide. Only you can fully decide what has meaning for you. That's what Nietzsche meant when he said you need to create your own values. Now, how you do this is another question, and I will answer it in a different video. But in the beginning of this video, and in my previous video, I said that if you are asking yourself about the meaning of life, and are really bothered by this question, it means something specific and interesting about you. So let's discuss that, because actually that is a very important sign that you must not ignore. You see, humans are really bothered by the meaning of something if they dislike that something. Let's take some universal example like soccer. A lot of people like soccer, a lot of people watch soccer, a lot of people have their favorite team, and usually nobody questions the meaning of it. Like, why do we even have soccer? Why do we play it? Why do we watch it? Why do we do all that? However, if one day, instead of kicking a ball, both teams started shooting each other, suddenly everyone would question it, like, why are we doing this? Because at that point, most people would not like it. And if you don't like something, you start questioning the meaning of it. You already see where I'm going with this. The same thing goes for your life. If you are constantly bothered by the meaning of your life, it means that something in it isn't going how you want it to go. In short, it means that you are unsatisfied with your life and you probably need to change it. Of course, there are a lot of ways that you can address this problem, but there's one way I will tell you about. And this way is, you need to take your nihilism and apply it everywhere consistently. Okay, you think your life has no meaning, sure, but if your life has no meaning, so does your anxiety, so does your fear, so does your shame, so does your high inhibition, so does questioning the meaning of life itself. If life has no meaning, then being lazy has no meaning too. Living in a way you don't like has no meaning. And if life truly has no meaning, then nothing stops you from improving it. So, you see, if you take your nihilism and apply it consistently to everything, then you dissolve all the things that are holding you back. You dissolve all the things that are poisoning your life. And that, in turn, makes your life better and makes you to forget nihilism completely. Because after your life gets better, you stop questioning the meaning of it. That's why, if you're thinking about the meaning of your life often, it's a good sign that you need to change it. And if you want to change your life efficiently and follow more high quality advice like this, then subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to join our Discord server for highly motivated, ambitious, and driven people. Link in the description. And I see you in my next video.